Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ronnie J. Cole II with eXp Realty here in Atlanta, Georgia. And today I want to talk about the rental market here in Atlanta. The market is so tough right now in terms of the number of people that are moving to the area and the lack of housing opportunities on the market for all of these people that are moving to this area. So I just kind of want to give you guys some basics as to some things I think you will need in order to be successful in renting a property. So the first thing is you have to know your budget. Why do I tell you to know your budget? Well, if you set a limit for yourself and say, I want to rent at $1,500, then that means this is the number that you have as your max. You know, if you have more to go over, great. If you don't have more to go over, let's stay at that number, that 1,500. The reason why I also say this is because most property management companies, most landlords here in the area, et cetera, all want to know that you make at least 3 times the amount of rent. So if you make $4,500 gross in a month, then that means you can afford a rental unit that's at least $1,500 or more. Some property management companies may give and take a little bit more on that, but it just depends. But that's kind of one thing that I've seen is like a constant here in this area. The second thing that I want you to know is I want you guys to know your credit profile. I want you to know your credit score. I want you to go and do some research on where you stand, because what I've seen is most people, they're looking for like a base score of like 600 or 625 just to even move you to the next step of the next criteria to use to accept you on your rental application. I have seen some property management companies go as low as 550. It depends, but the number one takeaway from this is you need to know your credit profile. You also need to know if you have missed any payments, if you've been late on any payments. All of those things are going to show up on your credit report. And these property management companies, these landlords, these owners are going to be looking at this information when you submit an application, because this tells them if you'll be able to properly pay the rent on time. So that's huge step. Next thing, have you broken any leases or have you been evicted? I hate to say this, but if that is the case, and it's been recently, like within the past year or 2 years, this is definitely going to hurt you. It's definitely going to hurt you because in the eyes of that particular landlord or owner or management company, they're going to look at it and say, okay, you could possibly be a risk to them. Again, you have to think about these things in terms of if you were the owner of that particular property, would you want someone moving in that ultimately may not pay the rent? And if you were the owner, you probably say no. So I think we have to sometimes do a little bit of the role reversals and think about why some of these things are in place. It's tough. I hate to say it. It sucks, to be honest with you. But, these are things that people have to put in place to make sure that, A, their property is going to be taken care of, B, that they're going to get paid on time. It is what it is. Those are kind of like the basics. What I'll also tell you is you guys have to be flexible right now in terms of your location that you want to stay in and your wants versus your needs. I say all of these things because, a property or a certain area may have plenty of availability. Case in point, I recently showed property in the Midtown Atlanta area. Midtown right now has a ton of rental properties on the market because as of right now, we're still in COVID-19. And what we're seeing are a lot of people are moving out of living in the densely populated areas and starting to move out in the sprawling suburbs. Therefore, in your suburbs, you don't have as many properties that are available to rent. I live quite a ways from Atlanta. Well, I won't say quite a ways, but it takes me about 30 minutes to get home from inside the city. So I live out in the suburb, and I've shown property here in the suburban area that I live in. And because of that, there aren't a lot of properties that are here. And they're staying on market. I've seen maybe 5 to 7 days. which is crazy. And so I want you to be flexible. I want you to be aware of where you're looking. There are a lot of hot neighborhoods here in Atlanta where if you're moving from out of state, everybody's looking to live in these neighborhoods. I won't go into the name of these neighborhoods. I would say maybe you can do your research, but there are some really hot neighborhoods where as soon as a rental comes on the market, especially if it's new, it's up to date, property doesn't have any major issues, that sucker's gone in a matter of days, 24 hours, 48 hours. I've seen it 24 hours before where a property's actually been rented out. So it's very tough. It's very tight. You need to know what you want versus what you need again. I understand needing and wanting, 5 bedrooms, but do you need 5 bedrooms? Maybe you only need 3 bedrooms. Do you need 3 bathrooms? Well, maybe you just need 2 bathrooms, that sort of thing. Do you have to have 2,000 square feet, or can you make do with 1,300 square feet? Do you have to have a washer and dryer in your unit, or can you just have a connection and rent a washer and dryer, or purchase, maybe a pre-owned washer and dryer, which will help maybe save you money in the long run from renting. So those are just some of the things that I want you to kind of be aware of in terms of wants and needs. Overall, like I said before, the market is tight. Rents are continuing to go up. The rental market is high. I've kind of seen like the base to enter into the Atlanta market for rent is kind of like 1,500. Now, just because there are a lot of units that are available inside the city, like in Midtown and downtown, areas such as Grant Park and Kirkwood, these are really hot neighborhoods. And just because there are rental units that are sitting on the market for a while doesn't mean that they're going to drop the rental rate to, $1,400. No, they have to stay within what the market will bear for them. And lastly, once you've done all these things, you figured out where your credit is, your budget, if you've broken any leases, you make 3 times the monthly rental amount. Hey, go ahead and apply. What I want to tell you is do not wait. Do not wait. Do not say that, oh, there's another rental unit out there. There isn't. Don't have that mindset. If you see something that checks off 4 out of the 5 boxes, I suggest you move ahead, because waiting just means that means you're cutting it close, because you could get to the day where you may have to move out of your current rental and you're looking for somewhere else, and then you only have a week or 2, and then you're taking whatever you can get at that point. And that just causes panic. And I don't want people to panic. That's the last thing you need to do, is panic. So hopefully this information has been helpful to you. I apologize if some of it has been a little eye-opening and sobering, but the rental market here, like I said before, is just absolutely crazy. I don't know if it's going to slow down or if it's going to continue just to speed up and see rental rates just go higher and higher and higher. Time will tell on that. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.